what's up?
Hey,
We're back.
Can we talk about your boots?
Let's talk about boots.
All right. So
And I've got a little story beforehand.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's talk
Known
about
you
boots.
for a couple years.
Yeah.
First time I've seen you in boots.
First time?
First time I've ever seen you.
Okay.
Sorry. Yesterday was the first time I've seen
Cowboy
you.
boots.
Cowboy boots.
Okay. Yes.
From the bottom of my heart.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Couldn't get the stub toe. Just
The
don't.
stub
I don't
toe?
do those. No.
The
Those
stub
aren't
toe?
real boots. Those are.
Now, did you have to kill a whole cow for those?
I. You know what? There was.
Mine's
Peter's not happy with me.
Mine is what's the veal? Mine's veal. Yours is Texas Longhorn.
Yes, it is.
Jeez.
So yeah, we got these down in San Antonio.
What were you doing in San Antonio?
My daughter, my youngest, my baby girl, graduated basic training.
Miss Kaylee Jade, 18 years old, right?
That's right. 19.
19.
She turned 19 down there in basic training.
Man, that's pretty awesome. That is so awesome.
First time I was there in 32 years.
So
Still
she
in
is
the same exact dorms, still in the same conditions.
She is in tech school right now.
Yes, she is down there also.
Good for her,
Yeah,
man.
So
Good for her.
proud of her.
What else been going on? We had a podcast with Mr. Anthony Azar. That is below.
That was great.
Phenomenal. Definitely a wise man. Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
And what did we talk to him about? We had a bunch of different topics.
Everything from
opportunity
to business to lessons learned to fatherhood. Just a wealth of knowledge.
Yep.
Amazing wealth of knowledge.
Good stuff.
Dude, so I bought a big old calendar, like one of the big at a glance 12 months, like 3 feet tall one.
Something technology can't provide.
Nope. Stuck that on my wall and started penciling in. We have got a busy 2019.
Yep. I'm out of control right now. We got a calendar that's actually in the other office there. I need to get a little bit bigger one.
We've got a couple trips that we're not on together, just a few. But I've got separate ones. I think between the both of us, it's over 30 days of being gone. Easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
So we've got New Orleans coming up. Gonna be in New Orleans.
Tony Robbins,
California, Mexico. Build a house twice.
Mm-hmm.
I got a conference I'm going to. You're going to the Country Festival in June. We will be riding across the great state of Iowa again
in July.
Then get back for a couple weeks. Go to Austin, Phoenix for Summit.
That's right.
Phoenix again. Man, it's good stuff.
Oh, to tell you about the boots, I kind of grew up with cowboy boots. Just to let you know. Even though you haven't seen me in boots, a lot of people think, "Oh, you go down there to Texas and you get boots." Like, you know what? I've worn more boots in my lifetime.
You slaughtered
and then
more
I joined
cows.
the military and wore boots every day. So why the hell would I wear boots even more? So I kind of got out of that phase the last 12, 13 years. And then I was like, you know what?
I need a testosterone boost.
So
boots
are back on.
You
buddy.
can't get boots in Stitch Fix or whatever it's called.
Stitch Fix is pretty awesome.
It is, sure. So
for all
we
the
are
ladies out there, right?
It is, yeah.
So yeah,
No comment. So we are going to. A couple weeks back, we talked about a recap of the summit we went to,
the Growthward Summit.
Growthward Summit, and we wanted to cover just a little bit our thoughts around giving and significance. This one, so just want to spend a couple minutes, going over that. What is the? Let's start with misconceptions. What is the biggest some of the biggest misconceptions you think around giving there is?
I think it's people think of money.
Okay.
First thing.
Yep.
If I got to give, I got to open my wallet.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest.
Explain that a little bit more. What?
I think when anybody asks for, to give something, they're not realizing that it can be time, because time is an asset. It can be just gestures, kind gestures, acknowledgement to people. And I say as simple as the fact, and trust me, I'm a big, I violate this. When you're actually listening to somebody, acknowledging the fact that you understood the conversation.
Yeah.
And that's giving your time. That's giving your time, and that goes a long way with some people.
Yeah, some other ones that don't cost a dime is giving of your past experiences.
That's lessons. Now,
Yeah.
I get more into that now from other people that I know that they've gone down different paths that are, that I may want to experience. Just like, anybody that we bring on the podcast. That's what I'm getting out of it from a selfish reason.
And I don't even know if you could put a dollar amount on that. Is if you're able to save somebody heartache by the lessons that you learn, there's not a dollar amount. I look at
Correct.
look at your biggest mistakes. How much would you pay to not have to go through that again?
Yeah. But I think, what happens is we don't know how much those mistakes hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So you're willing to go down that path.
Or sometimes a mistake you made 10 years ago, you don't realize until 20 years from now.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. But giving can also be financial.
Well, yes, it can. And I think when it comes from that standpoint, there are some things that financials, you need the financials to make things happen.
Yeah.
However, I truly believe, well, it's not that I believe, I know this is a fact, the individual that is actually giving gets the biggest reward.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reward to them is a lot.
So where this kind of stemmed
this
from a
around.
little bit was you and I were at the Growth Word Summit, and Kristen was talking about they were raising some money for some different charities and whatnot, and Kristen looked over at me and said, "Chase, share a little bit about what you do with Mexico, and kind of explain a little bit about One Mission and how we build houses in Mexico for families living in poverty and trying to help bring them out of poverty." And they're doing an auction like 5 minutes later, and Ben Kinney, who is a guy that both of us look up to and watch and have watched grow, and he looked over and said, I'll buy that package or whatever for raising money. And he said, jokingly, Denny Grimes said, "Well, why don't you do it for 5,000 more," or something like that. And Ben said, "No, what I'll do is I'll buy that for X amount of dollars, and I will donate $5,000 to build the house in Mexico for Chase." And that I was just both of us were taken aback.
Yeah. That was class act.
That was huge.
Class act.
And just recently did it, actually paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just lip service, and that's huge.
It provides so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's the unknown that people don't know what it really goes towards. And, we live in an instant gratification world, and it's something of that nature. It's decades down the road now that impact has.
Yeah.
It's not something in just today.
Absolutely. Everybody can give. And when we look at, so to kind of recap, as we talked about moving from survival mode to success to significance, I think that most people don't even know about the significance part. They just look at moving from, I don't want to survive, I want to be successful.
Yeah.
I don't think that most people it's on their radar, the significance side. And to have significance is beyond success. Success is you've successfully nailed whatever realm you're in financially or whatever, but the significance side is typically not tied to finances.
Well, that's what, that's how I related it. It no longer has to do with numbers. It has to do with people. Significance moves from numbers to people.
Yeah. 100% is looking at significance as making a lasting impact in somebody's life, a legacy for sure. We were just talking to a young gal in here who's got a little kid, and we were talking about how it moves from real estate in general was there's a shift in your brain where you go, it's not necessarily about how much money did I make or can I make, it's the legacy and the memories that I can leave with
That's
it.
right.
So that's a big one. So looking at you, for example, is leaving a legacy, and the significance is it wasn't about for you and your daughter this past week it's not about the money that you can make. It's about the opportunities you can have, meaning the income that you have allows you to make the trip for a week to go watch your daughter graduate?
You know, we were sitting there in the there's like a mini mall. Kaylee was able to go. She had kind of like free time on base with us, and that was the one thing that we sat there and we looked around, and there were some of the airmen didn't have parents there. There was nobody there, so they call them wingman. So we paired up. The thing is that I noticed very quickly, and even Karen mentioned this, she goes, we're very fortunate because we have the opportunity to be here. However, there are some people that don't that aren't able to be here. You know, and that was the one thing that really kind of hit me. It was like, wow, we've created this opportunity, but it wasn't created yesterday. It's been years in the making. So, and I think that's the thing to kind of look at now on a day-by-day basis, because otherwise you're going to wake up one day and wish that you had done something, previously. And it goes into the giving aspect, because ultimately that just it's a domino effect.
Absolutely,
it's an absolute domino effect. If I can't count on one end how many people that we went down and visited at the same time down there. That we haven't talked to for years.
Well,
and so it's just a huge impact.
Creating memories going is personal, but I'm assuming that you guys covered Taylor's flight to go out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So Taylor, who happens to work on our team as well as your daughter, mother of 2 twins. Taylor just turned 21.
Yep.
Just turned 21. I couldn't buy McDonald's at 21, let alone
That's right.
have a plane ticket. So the income allowed you to provide a memory, like watching the video of Taylor and Kaylee at the hockey game giggling.
Yeah.
Like that money provides, it's not about the money. It's about that opportunity to
create memories
and leave a legacy. Like, right. The picture that you will have for the rest of your life is you in your dress blues saluting your daughter in her blues that she just graduated.
Yeah. You're gonna get me choked up here, so we need to move on.
Yeah, but that's right.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah,
that's what it's about. It's not about the interest that it can occur in a bank account. Yeah, it's huge. One of the things you said is that giving can be teaching. One of the greatest things that you can do is to give your time to teach others. That's huge. And where I don't know. I think a lot of
you know what I'm working on right now. I think you know this, and I've kind of realized that I've made a lot of mistakes through time. If you lived as long as I have, you've made some mistakes. You've had some successes too, and I think the thing is to kind of go back and kind of put it down on paper, slideshow, whatever it may be, but kind of creating a class, to help younger people out so they don't have to go through some of the hurdles, or they can plan effectively on the front end, because anybody knows with financials, time is the biggest key.
Oh, for sure.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from on that, to where I'm kind of creating that class right now to be able to provide to the younger generation or generations.
You're going to charge how much per person?
It's going to be pretty expensive. It's my time. So no, actually, it's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm real passionate about it. It's been going on the last 2-3 weeks. I kind of putting it together. I know I need to fine tune it. I know I need to do a lot more, but it's not designed for real estate agents specifically. It's pretty much anybody and everybody that can kind of get them to wherever they want to go, so they can become successful and significant.
Yeah, absolutely. The joys of giving is huge. And giving, it can be so small, it can be huge. We were talking about Honor Flight earlier, is you're giving of your time for that to show up, welcome soldiers home from visiting the memorial. If you're listening, you've never heard of Honor Flight, just Google Honor Flight. It's impressive. It's awesome.
And I go back to this to where, you show up for 10 minutes at the airport. Yeah, it's going to take you 30 minutes because you got to park. You got to get out. You got to wait for them to come down the terminal there. But literally the entire event's probably 5 to 10 minutes max. However, I will tell you that 5 to 10 minutes, giving them the respect that they deserve that they did not get when they
Yep.
returned the first time. That's giving. It's giving your time. And for them to be able to see that, and it doesn't only affect them mentally, it affects their children. You know, and if they're 90 years old, their children in their 50s and their grandchildren, which are theoretically in their 30s and
Yep.
possibly great-grandchildren. You know, so this is generations that it's affecting because they understand that, you know what, they're appreciated.
And again,
It's just,
like
so
you were,
to donate 10 minutes of your time, okay, 30 minutes.
and it goes back like
It-
you were saying with
why would you
donating
not?
money is you're the one that wins. Like there's,
Yeah.
I'm sure that the soldiers coming back are so appreciative and think that like they win the most, and that's the intention. But you walk out of there feeling like you won, like getting chills.
You take your kids.
Yeah, it took my kids.
So how do you relate that? You feel that you won being a
we
father. exposing
we've
them to that, I
we've been
bet, you know?
very we've been very adamant with our kids since day one, and it wasn't really something intentional. I guess like if there are so many failures as a father and husband that I've had, one of the wins we have is since day one, since our daughter could talk, was telling her to say thank you to police officers, firefighters, public service, and soldiers. And now, unprovoked, if we could be at, we could be at Chick-fil-A and walking by, and there's a police officer eating lunch, they will walk by and say thank you. Like that's ingrained in them. When we meet somebody or we say like, I look at one of our buddies, Anthony Stella. Whenever he comes over, he always says thank you. The kids always say thank you for your service. Being a Marine, and it's just you create that pattern in their lives and that respect in their lives. When they get to go see that, they are forever changed. Like my daughter that we took down to Mexico to go build homes with us, she talks about all the time. She goes, like, I have to go back down. It's not even an option for her more. She's like, she literally said the other day,
She got the addiction.
she goes, my life is not complete unless I go back down.
Yeah. It kind of goes in full circle too. I got pretty teared up. We were walking in the mall down there in San Antonio, and daughter's in uniform. She has to be in uniform off base, obviously. And just store employee, telling her thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that was my daughter doing that kind of stuff. Running up. I remember my daughter running up to an honor flight when she was back there on a school field trip. Not even there for honor flight. Running up and kind of getting a photo bomb with the honor flight, and thanking them for their service. And now she is a part of that piece. So it comes full circle. It really does.
It does.
So really neat stuff. And I think teaching these kids in generation, and not only kids, educating the public too on some of the things that matter most.
And there's so much bad press out there that people try to demonize, and they try to lump in. There's bad apples in every single organization.
Yep. It sure is.
But yeah, I think what
are we doing? Here's the thing. I'm going to kind of let the cat out of the bag right here because nobody's going to watch it. Nate's not going to watch this. But
No.
what are we raising money for this year on our cycling trip?
So you've read more about it. I'm going to repeat what I remember from it. I believe it's correct.
And I've read about this much about it. Just
okay. So Nate,
and that's what matters.
Exactly.
It's the people. Okay,
yep.
So
Nate, who is part of our RAGBRAI team.
Yep.
So we're raising money this
Explain
year.
a little bit about Nate, though.
So Nate is Army veteran, was shot, injured in not Karen
Afghanistan.
I forgot the name of the valley. Not Karen.
I don't remember the name of the valley either.
Anyways, medevaced out
By the rescue unit.
By the rescue unit.
Yep.
Some people
Mm-hmm.
And has spent a lot of time. He's an avid hunter. So they do trips for people that have come back, soldiers, and it's like a
Disabled vets.
Disabled
Purple
vets.
Heart recipients.
Hunting in itself is therapy. It's therapy for me, and it's just an opportunity for them to take vets out. So we're going to raise money to help him fulfill.
Do what he loves to do.
To do what he loves to do.
There you go.
So
he doesn't know yet.
Nate,
like I say, he won't watch this, so he won't know.
No, Nate's a stud, man. He's got zero quit in him.
Yep.
That's
True
what
that.
that's.
I think his favorite phrase is "embrace the suck."
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
very good dude.
He's the one that, if you watch any videos on Ragbri or pictures, he brings the backpack of his fallen brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think it's 9 different brothers that got shot and killed, and so he takes them across Iowa every single year, and we have the opportunity and the honor to kind of carry that pack for an hour or two.
Yeah,
during that week. So it's good stuff.
He's a stud, man.
Yeah,
truly.
Yeah.
And it just goes back to giving, and it goes right. Let's use that backpack for example. Is
what's in that backpack? American flags, dog tags, beverage of choice that the individuals used to drink, and then of course at the very end we kind of
there's nothing cooler than
the family members love that because they're taking their son. We're taking their son across the state of Iowa again and again and again.
Great dude.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Let's go back to the financial side. Why do you think people don't? There's so much stuff that giving is not financial, but there is a financial aspect that goes a long way. Why do you think people don't budget giving? Like you and I both have done it.
Good question. I think it's a habit that you need to create, and I don't think that they have created that habit.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, there's 4 different locations you can put your money whenever you get let's just say a check or money that comes in from whatever source. You can spend it, you can invest it, you can save it, and you can donate it. And that's usually the last one that they'll contribute to. So it's already gone before they get to the donate portion.
So that is, I use this example when I talk about tithing and whatnot, was you've got a pie. You cut out your slice of pie that goes to giving or to spending, your slice of pie that goes to your mortgage, your slice of your pie that goes to saving and whatnot. And at the end, after everything's expensed, you look back and there's like some crumbs left over and like maybe like that one piece of burnt crust that nobody wanted. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of go, okay, here's giving.
Yeah.
Versus
or you scrap it towards the investment side or the saving side.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, there's so many.
And let me preface, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a fact that understanding that it will make you more whole.
Yeah.
Being able to do that. And I'm not saying a certain amount of money. I'm saying a percentage.
Yeah. So like I look
a percentage.
Like my brother is very big on dog rescue and everything else. So he spends a portion of his paycheck. They go out and they buy the big 50-pound bags of dog food and they drop it off, donate it to help feed dogs that are waiting to be rescued.
So let me ask you this. This is probably the toughest thing, and it's probably going through a lot of the minds of anybody, the one person that's watching this. If you're in survival mode, how do you give? If you don't have money because you're paycheck to paycheck and you're trying to make ends meet, how do you give? And I think it goes right back to what we talked about early in this deal. You don't open the wallet. It's the time.
Yeah.
It's the, the energy and the emotions that you put behind things on the front end. However, once you start getting those numbers, that's when you have the opportunity to really have that impact from a financial aspect of it.
Yeah. And going back.
And you train others, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that you can start somewhere. I really do. I think that $1 cheeseburger from McDonald's, somebody that's in need, goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah. That's
here's what I've found is with I've had lots of conversations about finances with people from working in churches and everything else. Don't get me wrong, there's a population and a percentage of people that literally don't have the money. That they do not have the money. There is a much, much, much grandiose, larger percentage of people that think they don't have the money, but they do. They just choose not to. And they allocate that money elsewhere.
And meaning, I'll go back out and I say that's a budgeting issue.
100%.
Okay, that's a budgeting issue. It's not right or wrong, but it's a budgeting issue.
Yeah, I don't have money, and you show up with an $8 Starbucks, you do
got money.
have the money. You just
You reallocate it in areas to where you
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's a drastic difference of mine, and yeah, it's choices. But I don't want to be I don't want to be a leech. Like I want to.
Well,
I want to give back. Like I don't always want to be on the receiving end of blessings. I want to bless others.
We go back through, we finished our team budget.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not think there's a category, for contribution? We just don't know what it is, but we know that we've got a budget item in there allocated to that. And I say that's from a business standpoint, where I think that there's a lot of individuals in their own personal finances. They just don't have it allocated. That's all. It's just that simple. And and I always tell people, hey, if you don't have the time, you don't have the effort, you don't have the things to do, then apparently you're working your butt off and you're getting money. So therefore, open up your wallet then. It's one or the other.
We had that. We got a guy named Mitch, very influential, high up at Raytheon. I can remember when I was starting a church. This was years ago. We didn't have two nickels rubbed together, and we wanted to go to a conference out in California. That actually Jenny and I are going out in April for a couple days, and he's one of those guys that he's on a different airplane every week to China or whatever. He doesn't he doesn't have the margins right now to carve out the 2 hours to go with us. Love to have him, but he goes, I'll pay for you guys to go. Forked over several $1,000s for all of us to go have a crazy awesome experience and learn. That's one of those, right?
Exactly. That's at a higher level.
On the other end, I look at by Ben donating to the trip, it allows us to have scholarships and bring people along to build a house in Mexico that financially can't. They can get the time off work because they have vacation days.
Correct.
But they can't swing the price to go.
Yeah.
Now they can.
Yep. Good. It opens up doors of opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, good. I could talk about this topic for hours because I think as you go through life, it becomes more important to understand why you're put on this earth, and to also understand that you're not going to be here forever. So therefore, to help somebody else that's, and I wouldn't even say in need, but to help somebody else out in an area that you may have a strength in is huge.
The one thing I know that we are not put on this earth for was to be a leech and just constantly consume.
Yeah.
And not give back. We've seen it. You've seen it in Haiti, which, by the way,
pouring in other people's buckets.
This time last year, you're in Haiti.
I was. I had the Facebook pop up, 1 year ago, and I was like, "Whoa!"
That was on mine.
Well, I have not committed 100% to because I'm looking at the schedule, but it's about a 99% chance that I will be going to Peru.
That's awesome
in June. And you know what? I'm doing something medical or optometric, and I have no idea what I'm doing there, but ultimately it's that time.
For sure.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So a lot of good stuff, and that's what drives me. I'll be very candid. It's just, that's the fuel that kind of drives me.
It is. And you couldn't do that if you didn't start working on it years and years and years ago.
Correct.
Correct.
What advice do you have for anybody?
It goes back to the how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time. If you want to give X amount of time, resources, or whatever, and it's a big number, you can start with 5 minutes. You can start with $5. You got to start someplace.
You mentioned something there that really triggered just my memory there for a second. There is my youngest went down to build 2 houses.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back and I go, you know what? We would have never had those memories if we wouldn't have done that.
For sure.
So it's like we would have gone through probably a normal routine on a weekend or whatever we did back here that kind of gets glassed over. However, I've got those memories that will always last forever.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of cool.
It's what it's about. I've told you this before, is that my goal is I've got a heart for the people in Rocky Point. They're salt of the earth. The families that we've built for and people just in general is the biggest win for me is to have my kids take their kids down there and go, I helped your grandpa build that house, that house, that house. And it's not for me, but going, wow, I may only see this next 3 days of dirt to a house, but 40 years from now, I plan on building right now, at least 2 homes a year down there. I'd like to get to do it, 3, 4, 5 is going, oh, that whole neighborhood your dad had a part of.
Well, we know what that does for families.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And being in our industry, it's a no-brainer.
What about you? Piece of advice?
I think it starts very simple. I think anything that's memory jogging, and you're passionate about. I'll use an example. Trips with old friends. As simple as that may be. It may cost to go somewhere. However, you constantly go back to the same location, they start to blur together. So if you, this is just one little arena. If you hey, we're getting together and we're going to go to, I don't know, San Diego. Once, go to San Diego this year. And then the following year, you go to a different location. It's jogging those memories with those people so it doesn't all blend together as one.
Gotcha.
And I think in that time together, you're bonding, you're increasing the relationships, and that's a form of giving, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it may be to where one of your buddies can't afford to do it, and then what do? You collectively come together and make it happen for them.
For sure.
So because you know how much of a tie that is. And the older we get, we know that we have more yesterdays than tomorrows as soon as you hit a certain age. Statistically. So it's like, take advantage of your time and life and understand that it's not about you. It's more about the other people,
For sure.
And then that will fulfill your bucket.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
So
we'll be back here in a couple days.
Yes, sir.
And if there's anybody has any topics, just let us know.
For sure.
All right.
Peace out.